A very good evening, all my dear viewers, in our weekly program, Doctors with a Difference, which is brought to you by Kalya Health in association with uh, Own Your Growth, which is a students' organization driven by students for their own learning, and also Prayas Amravati. Mental health is a major problem today and often is not given the importance that it deserves. And therefore, we have somebody who has really worked on mental health with us today, Dr. Nilesh Mohite. And what he does is a little special than the routine psychiatrist. So we will be knowing about his work just in a minute. Before, the context in which we are talking of mental health is very, very important now. All the more important because, we are in a situation of pandemic. We are confined to our spaces. We are not able to move freely. And that puts in a lot of pressure on each one of us. But unfortunately, a lot of times, the routine practice of psychiatry does not address the issues with mental health. And the other part of it is there is so much of misconceptions about taking care of mental health. People are often having the taboo. If I go to a psychiatrist, ये तो पागल है बोल देते हैं. So, how do we deal with all of that? For that, we have someone who specializes in psychiatry, Dr. Nilesh Mohite, originally from Mumbai, who has done his MBBS from Topiwala Medical College, Mumbai, but he left, the practice in Mumbai and went around to Assam and Arunachal Pradesh. He stays in the northeastern parts of the country and does something very, very special. Instead of people coming to him for seeking help for their mental health, he goes to people and take care of their psychological health. I wholeheartedly welcome Dr. Nilesh for this interaction. Thank you for joining us, Nilesh.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Apar, for inviting me. And thank you all viewers for taking time out for listening our story of mental health. And first, I will like to say that as I have seen some previous episodes of Doctor with Difference, but I truly feels that I don't, I'm not that much eligible for this theme because I'm not doing something very different. I'm just following my routine work, and it is nothing great or something very different. Yeah, but it's quite different than usual thing. So definitely, I will like to tell the things what motivates me or what the different ideas we are following. So yeah, Apar, we will. I will like to tell
That
all
is,
these
I
things.
think, very humble of you, Nilesh. Uh, Basically, we are not looking at somebody who is leaving the practice and, leaving everything and they are sitting in Himalayas. We are essentially talking to people and just trying to learn what things are they doing differently. It's not, they are different people. They're just doing things differently, and that is what matters. And that is why you very much deserve to be here. And we are very much keen on learning from you. Well, basically, I start this whole session with the very beginning of your career as a doctor. How did you get in medical course? Typically, we have people coming to medicine by choice or by chance. So what is your story of reaching medicine? Whether you always wanted to be a doctor?
No, no, no. I never wanted to be a doctor. Actually, I'm basically born and brought up in one small town near Mumbai in Thane district, and my parents are very much middle class. My father was banker, and my mother is a housewife. And I have one sister, elder sister, and like any other middle class family, they just wanted to give me a good education, and they wanted me to be either doctor or engineer. They had that thing in their mind, but I never thought that I will be a doctor or something like that. So I have told this story many times in my many interviews, that since childhood I used to like Shah Rukh Khan so much. So I used to follow him since my childhood. So whenever I used to see him in movies, I used to think that, okay, I will work like Shah Rukh Khan, or whatever movie, next movie he used to play the character. I used to feel that I will be that character in future. So it was very funny thing for me. So till my like 10 to 12 years, he used to play very different roles, or not different roles, but he used to play the roles of romantic hero. So till 97, 98, his all like roles were like typical romantic hero roles, and there was no scope for any professional things in that. So I was very confused that what he's doing exactly, and what I will do if I want to follow him. So like in 1997, one movie came. That movie name was Duplicate. So in that movie, he played the role of cook. In that movie, he wanted to be a world-best cook. So that time I was in seventh standard. So I also thought that, okay, I will be also a good cook, because in first time I have seen in his movies that he's very passionate about doing something. So I started following that. Okay, I will be also cook. So from seventh standard to 11th standard, I had that dream that I will be also cook, and I will also open one very big hotel and like that. So I had those type of dreamy things in my mind. But when I pass out, and then when I reach 11th standard, I think in 12th standard, that time my parents, they told me that you need to go to either engineering or medical. So that time I told them that no, I want to become a cook, and I will open a hotel and like that. So I cried. I told them, but then my mom told me that, okay, what you that you just now go to the medical, and then you can open a hotel after you become a doctor. So we can do that thing afterwards also. So you just complete your education first, and then we can open hotel anytime. So somehow she convinced me, and then I started preparing for medical, and then somehow I got admission in good medical college in Mumbai. uh, uh, in 2004 I started my MBBS in Topiwala National Medical College. So previously, one thing was clear in my mind, that I don't like machines. I don't like to work with machines. So I always wanted to work in the area where I can talk with people. I like to associate with people, emotions, and all these things. So it was clear that I don't like machines. But when I started in 2004, when I started learning anatomy, physiology, then when I met other doctors, then I realized that this allopathy, or overall this medical field, this is also like a machine, or it is like also engineering, but it's a human engineering. So all the things what I was learning in medical college, that was a part of engineering only. So we in medical, what we do, that we just check which part is not functioning well, and then we treat it. So I also thought, I got the feeling that, okay, I'm still in engineering field. That same year, one very good movie of Shah Rukh Khan came. It was called Swadesh. So I still remember the date. It was 17 December 2004. I was in first year, and that day this movie released. And when I saw this movie, uh, uh, it changed my so many perspectives of life. First time I have seen Shah Rukh Khan doing some very different role, and I realized that, yeah, what is privileges, and how the people in India are living, and what are the problems of caste system, poverty, then discrimination, or inequality. So first time I realized all these things, and then I realized that hero is not something who works, who runs behind the heroine and have some very good love story. So, but the hero is someone who helps the other, or who use his knowledge, his skills to help other, and to do something creative, something different. So from that day, I started thinking differently. I thought that yes, I should do something different, and I should not work only like a regular doctor, or like what others are doing. So from that day, not that day, but while thinking about all these things, then I started learning about the social things, about many public health things, social things, this inequality, poverty, discrimination, and all these things I used to learn. I used to learn, read so many books. Then with friends, I started going to slums in the Mumbai. Then I started going to some villages, because I was not exposed to all these different things, because I was like raised in very protected environment of middle class, metro middle class family. So then in 2019, 2009, when I pass out, one interesting thing happened, that there was one very interesting, uh, you can say, program for the youth. It was called Nirman. So it was started by Dr. Abhay Bang and Dani Bang. And in that program, they used to sensitize youth for doing something different, or working for the society, doing some research. So I went there, and then that time I realized they teach us how to choose purpose of your life, or what should be the goal of your life. So that time they have told us one very interesting story of Mahatma Gandhi. So they told us that whenever so Gandhiji gave one talisman. So many of you must have known about this talisman. So Gandhiji's talisman is, Gandhiji told that whenever you are confused about what to do in your life, then you should remember the most miserable person you have ever met, and then you should think that what you can do for that miserable person. So whether my steps, whichever steps I'm going to take, whether my steps are going to help that miserable person or not. So this was a simple formula to choose your career, to choose your life goal. So yeah, when we came back from that camp from Gadchiroli, that time I was like, okay, now I need to find that miserable man, and the miserable man I have ever met. So I was like doing internship that time. So I used to search that where I can find that miserable man. So I was thinking that whenever I can, I will get tears in my eyes when I see someone, or hear their story. That time I can think that this is a miserable man, I should do something for them. So it was like I was my almost all internship was over, and I was working in internship, working in rural areas or remote this slums, but I never found that I feel very emotional for someone. I have seen many patients of cancer, many patients of HIV, then dying patients, accident patients, but I never felt that I feel like crying for someone. But then one day in I was doing internship, it was night duty. One day I was intern, and that time suddenly around 6 patients came, not in within 3 to 4 hours period. 6 patients came with the suicidal attempt, and most of them were youngsters. So we were able to save 3 people, and 3 people died. But then when I asked them history, the parents were not aware that their child is going to take some steps like this, and they were completely unaware of all these things. And then when I talked with their parents, then I felt that they got very big guilt, that we were not able to help our child, and we were not able to understand their feelings, and it was completely a big shock for them. So that time when I have seen those tears of their parents and their pain, I thought that these are the miserable men, these are the miserable people I should work for. So that time I felt very bad. For few days I was very disturbed. And the reasons these youngsters did suicide was very like simple reasons, that girlfriend said no to them, or their parents scolded them, or something happened in their friendship or something like that. So for that small reasons, they ended their life. So I felt very bad. So that time I realized that I should work for the issue of the mental health. That time, then I thought that okay, the thing is, now I got the purpose that I want to work for the mental health. So then I
Uh,
started.
One of the things, Nilesh, I was just wondering, you are the first doctor that is talking about movies. Not first, actually. Dr. Anil Patel, whom we interviewed last, was talking about Anand and Bawarchi, beautiful movies. When you started talking about Shah Rukh Khan, I thought, which is the movie in which Shah Rukh Khan has played a doctor?
Yeah,
Which
I'm coming. I'm coming
excited
there. Yeah,
you.
I will come there. Yeah. So then what happened that then I realized that okay, this is the field I want to work for. And then I started searching that okay, then there are already so many psychiatrists are there, not so many, but still there are psychiatrists. Then in which field or which type of psychiatrist I want to become, or where I should work, or what type of work I should do. So for that, I started searching the things. So I went to many different organizations, social organizations. Then I did some research. Then I met so many senior psychiatrists. Then I asked them what are the problems in field and all these things. Then I realized that I should work in the field of community psychiatry. So there is no such special course as a community psychiatry. I need to do simple psychiatry course, 3 year psychiatry course, but my approach should be like community, because what we have seen that normally people have we have the clinics, or we have medical colleges, or government hospitals, but they don't have the community approach. I will come to that approach afterwards. So then after deciding that I want to be a psychiatrist like this, and then that time I was like thinking that where I want to stay, I know where I want to work. So actually the place where I stay in Mumbai, specifically in Dombivli, that near my house there are within like a 50-meter range, there is one international school, there is one international hospital, then there is we have everything near my house. So just wait. Telling that so when I was deciding that where I should work, that time I thought that or where I should study psychiatry. That time I thought that I should study psychiatry from the place where I can meet so many rural people, tribal people, or those people who are really needy. So that time I was searching for the institute where from where I should do my psychiatry. That time I found that in Northeast there is one institute called LGB Regional Institute of Mental Health at Tejpur, where they get so many rural patients, tribal patients, and it's really needy area. So I thought that I should do I should do my PG from there. Then once I visited that place, I liked that place, Northeast, very much. And then next year I gave their entrance, gave normal entrance, and then luckily I got that same college for my PG. And then I started my PG in 2014. And when I came here, I realized that what I was imagining about psychiatry was quite different, because normally in medical colleges or normally most of the psychiatrists, they have only clinical approach. And then I realized that clinical approach doesn't help us to reach to the patient. So side by side, I was visiting so many other organizations. Even in Bangalore, there is one very good organization called Sochara. So when I went to, I came to Bangalore for Niman's posting. That time I visited this organization, many organizations in Bangalore, from where I got so many new insights about the community mental health. And 2017, I completed my psychiatry. Before that, one very good thing happened. Yeah, and this is the answer for your question, Apar. So as I told you that I always wanted to work like Shah Rukh Khan. So when I was giving my final exam, during that period only one very good movie of Shah Rukh Khan came out. It was Dear Zindagi, and in that movie he played the role of like a mental health professional. And then I thought, okay, yeah, my dream got completed. Now I also become psychiatrist,
I
and
think he
he
took
has also,
inspiration from you finally.
yes. So now when I talk with youngsters, or when I do counseling for them, I get that feeling. Okay, yeah, I'm doing work like Shah Rukh Khan, and then the same thing like when I came out in 2017, I passed out. That time I was thinking that what I have seen in medical college, not in medical college, in our institute, it is like a, almost like a Niemann's. This is a, we can call it is a sister organization of Niemann's. This is also one of the biggest mental hospital or mental health institute in the India. So what we have seen that so many people, they can't come to the institute, or they can't visit institute because there are so many issues. Like there are so many issues of like about the traveling, about the poverty, then Naxalite movements, militants, then frequent floods, then poverty, stigma, superstition. So many issues are there. So very few people can come to the hospital, and those who reach the hospital, they also get drop out very soon because of all these problems. So that time I was thinking that when the patient used to come to us when I was doing my PG, we used to reduce their symptoms, and they used to be fine within few days. But then after going home, the problem was like they used to stop the medicine, because they it was not affordable for them to come to hospital on monthly basis or continue the same treatment. And there were so many other issues like superstition, other social stigma, other problems were there. So I was thinking that I should go to the people, and then we should do something different. That time, like, I don't know, fortunately, there was one project by one organization called The Ant. It is started by Dr. Sunil Kaul and Jenny. So they had one project called MITA, MITA. So MITA's full form is Mental Illness Treatment in Assam. Mental illness treatment in Assam. So they were starting this project called MITA. So they were searching one psychiatrist who can go to the people who can stay in villages and teach people about the mental health, and develop some system where we can give the psychiatric treatment at the lowest cost. So they were searching that psychiatrist. So when I pass out, and when they were searching it, this thing matched. I don't know how that matched, but I got call from Dr. Call that okay, we are searching for one psychiatrist that who is ready to go in the villages and want to do something different. So, and it was my dream. So it was like they offer me my dream job. So I joined there, and then we started working on this project called MITA. So what we normally do in this project, so say there is one very remote district. I will give you example of district Dhemaji. So what we have seen that this is a district of around 12 lakh people, and there is not a single psychiatrist in that village, in that district. And it is very backward district, near to China border. And we have seen that many people, they are not able to take any treatment because of these distance issues and all these things. So if suppose they want to come to the mental health facility, they have to spend around 16 hours, or they have to spend like 10 to 12,000 rupees for the vehicle. So we went there, and then we identified one social organization. Then we train those people, these volunteers. Then we train few teachers, students, few social workers, few volunteers. And then we told them, we taught them about how to do stigma reduction, how to do motivate people to take the mental health treatment, or how to talk with them, how to do simple counseling. So we train them, and they were volunteers. They were not getting any payment because they were already doing some other job. So we train them. And then what we used to do that, we used to tell them that, okay, once in a month, you need to bring all these patients to one center. So they used to bring all these 100, 200 patients to that center. And then I used to go to that center from Tejpur, where I stay now. And then we used to see those all patients. And then we give them all the medicines only in 300 rupees. All the things, all 1 month medicine, whatever medicines they need, we give whole treatment only in 300 rupees. And we manage all the things in that 300 rupees. We don't get any extra money for managing all these things, not from any funding agency, not from government also. So this is India's the cheapest mental health model, where we say that we treat patients only in 10 rupees per day. So the same patient, if he needs to take treatment, he need to go to the mental hospital around 500 kilometers away, or he needs to spend so much money for the traveling, and other things, other expenses are there. So what we have done that, like that, we have created one system. And then after that, we involve few other psychiatrists also. Once the system gets set, more patients started coming, then we involve some other psychiatrists also, those who are ready to go to that places. So like that way, we have created system in 12 districts of the Assam. These are the very remote districts, and we train more than 300 to 400 people, and now they are taking care of these patients. And now in COVID situation, when we were not able to go to the people, what we have done that these people, these volunteer used to go to the patient's house, and from there they used to call me. They used to give me video call, and then we used to see the patient, and we used to give these medicines to the patients. So all over Assam and Arunachal, we did this thing. Through that, like thousands of patients getting mental health treatment in very low cost. Previously, it was like 10 to 15 times cost for them, and now it is available to their doorstep, not doorstep, but at very near distance to them. And because we have work over these challenges, social challenges, about the distance, about the money, about the availability of the medicines, or stigma, then social support, all these things. So when we work with the people, we increase the efficiency, we increase the power of, like we can say, psychiatrist. If suppose I'm a psychiatrist and I'm working in small clinic in city, then obviously many poor people, many people staying in rural or a tribal area, they will never able to come me. If they will able to come to my clinic, they will drop out soon. So like that, we have developed this system in Northeast. Like now in 12 districts, with the organization called The Ant. Same way, I work with one another organization called the Parivartan Trust. Parivartan Trust works mainly for the de-addiction. So the de-addiction is a very big issue in Northeast and everywhere. So I work with Parivartan Trust. So with Parivartan Trust, we work mainly with the addiction patients. Then for the rehabilitation of the patients. Then we work for the developing some models, some research model which can be replicated elsewhere. So I'm doing working with these two organizations, and this Parivartan organization is Maharashtra-based organization, but they are also working in Tejpur. So basically, I'm working with these two organizations, and under their umbrella, we are doing so many different activities. So, Apar, sorry, it was like a long talk.
No, no, no. I mean, I think there was so much to tell our viewers, and therefore, you just started. And thank you for narrating the entire journey. It is very exciting that you be inspired and wanted to be a cook sometime in your life. Have you learned any cooking, Dr.
Yeah, yeah,
Nilesh?
yeah. Yeah. I will tell you one. What happened? I will tell you. So for like 4 or 5 years, I used to learn cooking from 7th standard to 11th standard. Then I used to help my mother. I used to see watch that Khana Khajana of Sanjeev Kapoor every day, and I used to help my mother also. So I'm good in cooking. And then 2 years back, we started one very good program here, one very good project here. Through some funding, we have started one cafe here. It is called Mind
Oh,
Cafe. Yeah, it is in Tejpur. So this is run by our patients.
okay.
All cooking, then managing the things, everything is done by our patients. So yeah, it was like, I feel like it is my dream come true. It's not my own cafe. It's our organization Parivartan Trust Cafe, but
Mhm.
it gives me like good feeling that yeah, we are doing something in that line. So we have this cafe in Tejpur. You can visit this cafe where the people who were admitted in mental hospital, they are working there.
So, Shah Rukh Khan did what you wanted to do. Along with you, when you became a psychiatrist, he also became a mental health professional. And you eventually also have done something that you wanted to do, that is, cooking. Many congratulations to you.
Yeah. And then again, one more thing happened, like what I told you that about the Swadesh movie, where he go to the villages, he stays with them, then he train them, then he work with them, and then he light the bulb. Yeah, so he removes the darkness. So now when I go to the villages, I work with the people, I stay with them, learn from them. So that time also I get the same feeling that I'm like working like a Shah Rukh Khan of Swadesh. So it's more like a dream thing or imagination. So it's nothing like I am sacrificing or doing something. I just love what I'm doing.
No, that is very important, I believe. Love what you're doing, and everything else will fall in place. So that's a wonderful message. A couple of things that I wanted to talk to you about, Nilesh, was one is you have briefly told us about this model of community mental health or community psychiatry. Now, what is the practice involving? You have told us that there are volunteers. What is the kind of training that you give? And uh, of course, one part is medicine, but how do you identify that there are certain mental health issues or psychological issues? How we would be able to know that? And I think it is very important again in the present context, because, people are so depressed. We are listening about suicides all across. And, a lot of times, like you said, uh, even the closest relatives have no clue. So how would you tell our viewers to identify the risk factors, or, the danger signs of mental health issues in people whom they care about?
Yes, yes. Yeah, I will just tell you what is the difference between regular psychiatry practice and community psychiatry practice. So, like
Yes.
in regular psychiatry practice, I'm a clinician or I am working in medical college. Whichever patients is coming to me, I'm seeing them, and then I'm doing awareness, but not in awareness is secondary part for the me when I'm working in the clinic. But when we work in the community setup, for us treatment start with the awareness. So with our team we try to do so many awareness programs. Then we try to create videos, then write posts or write articles, then we talk with people, we do role plays, then our team goes and do meetings with the people in villages. So we try to reduce the stigma and reduce the superstitions about the mental health and motivate people to take the treatment. Then this is the first thing involved in our work. Second thing is that we need to create the systems which are accessible to them, which are affordable to them. So it is not possible that we will sit in very cozy or like you can say hi-fi clinic, and then we will wait for them to come and give us fees, and then they will be okay. So what we do that we try to go to them. Most of my clinics in villages, they are like in schools. So for one day we request school teacher, or on mostly on Sundays or Saturdays, they give us 2 rooms in the school. So I sit in the school and we run our clinic there. So in that way we try to create the systems which have less stigma. If suppose patients they feel that they are going to mental hospital or they are going to psychiatrist, then that time what happened that because of stigma they will feel bad that okay हम पागलों के डॉक्टर के पास जा रहे हैं, या फिर हम लोग क्या पागल है क्या. They get so much stigma. So because of that we go to the people, we mix with them. Most of the time when I go to the villages or in my field work, I never stay in hotel. So I stay in people's house, whatever condition their house is, I stay with them. So it's a quite big thing for them that when any specialist doctor comes to their village, then stays with them, talk with them, eat with them. So all these things matters a lot. So it helps to reduce the stigma, helps to reduce the superstition. Then after doing that we definitely do some calculations about how to give them medicines in very less cost, how to provide them all treatment in good you can say following the all protocols. So we follow the all international standard protocols. It's not like that we are treating the poor patients, so we are giving them any poor quality treatment. So we try that we should give best for the last person. So best for the last, it is our policy. So we always try to learn from new research papers and new technologies and all these things. So now we have created one very good mobile app also. So all these centers where we are seeing the patients, we were able to assess all their details, all their problems and everything through mobile app, and we can do the research using that data what we are generating. So it's not like that we are working in very remote area of Northeast, so we are not maintaining our quality. But we always feel that if you are doing for the poor, we should give our best. So then we are trying to do some research, developing some research models. So how we can replicate this model, how we can use this model to other less resource setting. So we need to do all these calculations, research, so we can replicate these models. Then we are trying to experiment with many different things, like as I told you that. So like trying to develop the this you can say job for them or employment for them, or we are trying to develop few other things also. So we are keep thinking and trying to develop the new ideas for the people. So then we have started helpline in Maharashtra also, and Parivartan Trust also works in Maharashtra. So we have started one in the COVID situation. What we have done, that we realized that there are very less counselors. So we train around 200 people. Those who are interested in mental health, we train around 200 people, and we started one helpline called Manobal Helpline. And through that Manobal Helpline, so many people volunteer for that helpline, and we were able to help so many patients suffering from COVID, or those who wanted some counseling during this difficult situation. So in both the organization, we keep experimenting with the things. We try to involve as many as people, because what we feel that mental health is not only related to psychiatrists or patients. So we have scope to involve so many other people, because like in primary setup also many doctors can work. Our most of the volunteers, they are just 12 pass, or most of them are not even past 10th standard also, but they are still able to help so many people, because we need to work over the basic things like stigma, superstition, motivating patients, helping them in rehabilitation, helping them to get some job, helping them in family therapy, doing the simple counseling, very simple counseling, talking with them. So these are the very, very simple things which anyone can do if we give them very basic training, so they can do it. So like that, we are involving as many people as we can, because we know the problem is very big. This problem is so big that I'm just giving you one statistics. Like in India at present, we have around 17 to 18 crores patients, mental illness patients. So according to National Mental Health Survey, around we have around 11 to 12% people suffering from mental illness, those who need some urgent treatment. So with that logic, we have around 16 to 17 crores people, and to treat them, we have only around 5 to 6,000 psychiatrists. So this is a
That's
very,
really devastating number.
you can say, odd ratio. And this patient needs consultation every month. So if suppose we give this patient consultation only once a year we give them consultation, then also each psychiatrist need to see 300 patients daily. And to see psychiatric patient, we need some time, more time is required than other consultations. So it's not possible. So there is treatment gap. So so at present, in most of the remote areas or rural areas, this treatment gap is 95%. So what is 95% treatment gap is that when 100% people require some treatment, then only 5% people get that treatment, and 90% people are out of that treatment. So in India at present, at many remote locations, the treatment gap is around 95%. And those people who are getting this 5% treatment, they are also not satisfactory level of treatment, because they have to spend so much money, they have to travel a lot. So in that case, only privileged people, those who are suffering from mental illness and they are privileged, only those are getting these facilities. So we need to create these facilities for the uh, like underprivileged people, marginalized people. And for that, we need to do some research. We need to involve as many as people as we can, because only psychiatrists cannot do this. Because when I meet one patient, suppose I meet one schizophrenia patient today. So what is his story? So he got some symptoms, like he's not getting sleep, he's angry, he's suspicious, he's hearing some voices, then someone is calling him like that, he's feeling that some people will come and kill him, and because of that he's irritable, he's fighting with his family members. Due to this, what happened that he left his job. Then afterwards, after few years, his wife left him. So now he's staying with his old parents. So he's not able to take care of himself. So how he can take care of his parents? Now there is no job, there is no family. So plus there is stigma. People are saying, telling them that okay, this is because of some bhoot, someone has done some kala jadoo over your friend, some black magic is going on. So this stigma, then these superstitions are there. So with all these things, there are so many problems. So what psychiatrist can do? He can just diagnose the patient and give the treatment. But all these other things, like about the stigma, about the helping the family, about the rehabilitation of job, about the family therapy, all these things, we need to take the help of other people. So we need a very big team for doing all these things, because only giving medicine is not the whole treatment. We need to treat patient as a whole. So for that, we need a very big team. So it's like a movement. What we call that mental health is a movement. Uh, Unlike other illness, they have some other problems, but in mental illness we have so many severe problems, and we need to create very big team for dealing with all these issues. In community mental health, we basically concentrate on developing such teams, developing research, or creating new ideas for the masses.
I think this is very, very important what you are telling us. Like what you are mentioning,
Apar, I can't hear you.
uh, just 1 second. Hello? Hello?
Hello. Of like half day training where they can we can teach them about how to identify the patients, how to refer them, how to talk with them, how to do small counseling. So we can help them, and this knowledge is helpful even in your own practice. So we can do that, and we need to find out your skills and our needs. So we need to match your skills and our needs, then only we will able to tell you that in which area we both can work together. But definitely we always like to involve more and more people with us, because we know that our battle is very big, and we need so many soldiers in that, and we need as many as people who can help us. So in our team we have engineers, we have writers, we have actors, we have students, professors, then even vegetable vendors, they do our awareness. So there are so many people involved in our work. Mostly in most of our patients also, they also work as a volunteers. So this is a very big work, and we definitely need as much people as we can get. Yes.
I think
So
Dr.
Garima
Nilesh is
Garg has
asking.
asked us that doctor, how much time usually it takes your patient to get off medication, or they need to go lifelong on medication if suffering through these issues. Okay, so Garima asked us this question, that how much time it takes to take off or reduce the medication, and whether they need to take it for the lifetime. So yeah, this is quite difficult question, because it depends on you can say patient to patient, illness to illness. So there are few illnesses you can say like diabetes or hypertension, in which illnesses we need to take medicines for lifelong. If we stop the medication of diabetes or hypertension, then illness can start anytime afterwards. So if the illness is very severe, like schizophrenia, or say mania, or few illnesses like OCD, in that case we need to take treatment for many years, even for the lifelong. But few illnesses like anxiety disorders or some stress disorders, or you can say depression, or in such illnesses we don't need to take treatment for longer duration. Maybe say 3 to 6 months or 6 to 9 months treatment is also like sufficient for these patients. But definitely our treatment lasts longer, and it depends on patient to patient. But it's not like that. Many people think that after taking our medications, people become addicted. It's not like addicted. Suppose few of you are wearing glasses. So whether you say whether you say that my ophthalmologist made me addicted to my glasses, no, because why you are using glasses? Because there is some vision problem in your eyes, and that ophthalmologist is not able to correct that vision problem. So there is some problem in your eyes, and it is still that problem is persistent. But by using those glasses, you are able to reduce that disability, or you are able to reduce that problem. So you are using that glasses. When you will stop using that glasses, you will again get problem in your vision. So it's like the same for few illnesses where we are not able to completely cure the illness. In that case, we provide this neurochemicals from outside, and till the day they get that neurochemical from outside, they stay symptom free. After that, when that deficiency of the neurochemical occurs, that symptoms comes again. So basically, we need to understand the biological basis of mental illness. So many illnesses, it occurs because some chemicals in our brain, they are like, you can say, under secreted. We don't, suppose like I need serotonin 10 ml to function properly, but my brain is creating only 8 ml of serotonin. So now I am 2 ml deficient, and because of that deficiency I am getting the symptoms of depression. So what I will do, because I cannot do the brain surgery, and after that brain surgery this brain will start creating the 10 ml which is required for my daily activities. So what I will do, that I will just give that uh, remaining 2 ml from outside, and then my patient will start functioning well. So when we will stop that 2 ml, then that time he may get the symptoms again. It depends on the situation. So few illnesses where this chemical problem is persistent, that time there is no option other than giving them medications regularly. And definitely counseling helps in mild mental illnesses. So I have seen many people, they feel that if you get any mental illness problem, then counseling will help them. I have seen many people that they don't go to the psychiatrist because of stigma, and in that process they increase their symptoms. Because of these increased symptoms, it becomes very difficult to control them afterwards. So we need to first visit psychiatrists. Then psychiatrists can advise them whether they will need medicines or not, or they will need only counseling, or they can get easily recovered with the yoga, meditation, or other illnesses. So what I have seen, that many people, when they get some stress or they get depressed, they feel that doing regular exercise or doing regular yoga, dance therapy or other therapy, they will be recovered very fast. But what we have seen, that when there is problem in your brain, or when your brain is not able to make these chemicals, this these things doesn't help much, because there is basic problem in chemicals. So we need to give those medicals chemicals from outside, and after that patient start recovering, these other therapies like yoga therapy, natural therapy, then your dance therapy, counseling, they start functioning very well. But in the severe situation, I have doubt that whether this therapies will work or not.
Thank you, Dr. Nilesh. Another question from another viewer is, there are some techniques used. Can you please talk about them? What are the techniques used in
Neha
psychiatric
Satra
rehabilitation?
asked us one question, that I have heard that few game and techniques are used too. Can you give us a few examples? Yes. So we need to understand two things. Normally, what we feel, that when we see mental illness, we know only simple mental illness like depression. Like most of us go through depression when we go through our breakup, or we fail, or we are not able to complete our ambition or dreams. That time we go through the mild depression, or something stressful situation going in family or personal life. We go through such situations. In that mild depression or mild mental illness, definitely few games or a few techniques, like we do so many psychological, like in counseling, mass counseling, or in group sessions, we do so many techniques. We have one very good group in Pune, or in Tezpur also. This is called Manas Rang. In Manas Rang group, what we do, that we call people or patients, their families, every Saturday or Sunday to one place, and then we sit together for 3 hours. And then our volunteers and the patients, they sing a song, or they dance, they do many activities, like they develop or they do some role plays, or they write some essays, or they play some small games. And these activities help them in rehabilitation, and these activities help them to socialize. So many patients feel very good after doing these activities, after socialization, after mixing with people, and doing these small activities. But these activities helps only in mild cases. So you need to understand that there are so many severe illnesses, and in those severe illnesses, these techniques helps, but not in initial stage. When patient is at very good recovery stage, that time these things helps, but in primary stage these things doesn't help. So definitely there are a few techniques like I told you, like dance therapy, then art therapy, few games, essay writing, painting, and few competitions. Few games are there where we can use these games for the mild cases, not the severe cases.
Well, thank you, Dr. Nilesh, for taking those questions. And, despite all the difficulties and technical glitches that we have had with audio, I think today's session has happened extremely well. And we have had, a very insightful journey of this young psychiatrist who spoke about, how from all the way from Mumbai to being in Tejpur in Assam and Arunachal, reaching to very small little places and reaching the practice of psychiatry to them. I would just like to thank Dr. Nilesh for being with us today, and also any parting thoughts for our viewers, so that they can carry back the message that you have for all of us, and then continue to practice well. Dr. Nilesh.
Uh, yes, thank you, Apar, and thank you all viewers for inviting me, and thanks for watching. And I'm really grateful to Apar for inviting me on this show. And if you have any questions, still we can continue the thing. If you don't have questions, then we can stop here. And definitely, so much thanks to Apar for inviting me. And if you need any help from me or our team, definitely you can call us. Apar can give our contact. Yeah, definitely I will give. You can take my number from Apar, or you can see our website called Parivartan Trust. Parivartan Trust. It is a mental health NGO. So there are few other mental health NGO names with the Parivartan Trust, but you can see Parivartan Trust Mental Health NGO Tejpur and Satara. So you can visit our NGO, or you can call us. Apar can give my number.
Well, thank you so much, Nilesh. And answering something that Nilesh did not, uh, in terms of the yoga and naturopathy and the holistic way of looking at psychiatry, there is a lot of work that is happening at NIMHANS, Bangalore, as well as Esvyasa University. And what we have seen is that, yoga, naturopathy, Ayurveda, and the whole of the holistic systems can be very, very useful, not just in mild mental disorders like anxiety, depression, and all of that, but also in serious mental diseases like schizophrenia. The drug adherence is a major problem with schizophrenia. People just stop taking medicines, and that creates a lot of problem. So what is an outcome of these studies that have happened in mental health and yoga is that the drug adherence is much better. The quality of life is much, much better. And having been from that field, I would be able to tell that with kind of an authority that there is a lot that is there for all these traditional health systems to offer in psychiatry for sure. And we would be very happy to associate with Dr. Nilesh in the community psychiatry project, wherein we can add this aspect of yoga, naturopathy, and other aspects, which probably will empower the self-help from the community itself. I would like to thank Dr. Nilesh for joining us today despite his busy schedule. And for all my viewers, thank you very much for joining us for this wonderful session. And we will meet with another young doctor next week, a Dr. Kapil probably, who has traveled to Antarctica. And they are doctors with some difference. So we will meet again. Thank you so much till then.